Do you have a dog that's getting older and you're noticing maybe he's not coming when called, or taking treats a little bit more roughly, or you're noticing some lumps and bumps that weren't there before? Well, these are all normal things that occur as your dog ages. And today, I'm going to discuss these changes and give you some tips and tricks on how to deal with them. Physio for over 20 years. If you notice some of these changes, you're not alone. I see so many dogs each week that are older, and owners are trying to figure out why some of these things are occurring. So the first thing I want to talk about is vision. You can try this, where you take a cotton ball and you drop it in front of your dog and see if they look down at the thing that you drop from your hand. The reason you use a cotton ball is because it has no scent. If you use a treat, they can sniff it and follow it. A care tip for this is using hand signals. What I did with my other dog is when I took him on walks, they used to be off leash, but I knew he couldn't see very well or hear very well. So I had him on a 20-foot long line so that he was always able to sniff, but I had the end of his leash so that he couldn't get lost. Also things like in your home, setting it up so there aren't obstacles in your dog's way. Having said this, a lot of dogs will figure it out, but don't move things, because if you move something, they won't know it's there and they can bump into it. So let's talk about hearing. This one is a little bit harder to detect, especially when in the early phases. So what you can do is set up some treats so your dog is very focused looking at the treats. You can see Jake is being a little bit naughty here. And you come behind your dog, and what you're going to do is clap your hands. And you can see in this video what happens is Jake's ears go backwards towards me. So it tells me he can hear a clap. With some dogs, the high pitch sound they can hear, it's more of the lower tones that they can't hear. A care tip for this is checking inside your dog's ears to ensure there isn't too much wax buildup or foreign matter in there. So what I recommend is using something like this. It's a tea tree oil with some alcohol in it and natural ingredients. And what you do is you soak the cotton ball, and you shouldn't use a Q-tip, because a Q-tip, there's too much risk of you going too deep into the eardrum and possibly doing some damage. So I use the cotton ball and go down into the ear, and you can see here, even though I did this a month ago, there's quite a bit of dirt, for lack of a better word, inside his ear. So this might be an easy fix for some hearing deficits. Now, having said that, as we age, people, dogs alike, we do start to lose hearing. But if your dog has gone completely deaf quickly, you may want to go to your veterinarian and have it checked out. So we've talked about ears. What about teeth? This is very, very important that you check your dog's teeth. So I'm going to share Jake's story, my own dog, about his teeth and why it's so important. I was not a good owner in that he had a number of infections that occurred, and we couldn't figure out where they were coming from. And anyway, we ended up in dentistry, and this poor guy had 21 teeth removed. And that was what was causing the infections that he kept getting 2 or 3 times a year. So I have a little mixture here. Coconut oil, like the thick coconut oil, not liquid. Yeah, I know, you like it. Yum, yum, yum. And a bit of baking soda, and just to give it a little extra flavor, I throw in a tiny bit of beef broth powder. And basically what I do now is brush their teeth. And you can see he's used to it now. Ooh, this is your dog. And then I let him lick it a little bit. He wants to eat it. They love this. And how I started doing it, just so you know, is I would take, because he had never had his teeth brushed in, 10 years. So I just took a little bit on my finger, and then I would rub it in there, let him lick my finger. That's yum yums. And then I got a little toothbrush that goes over your finger, and I started doing it that way.
And then I worked to a toothbrush. And you can see he doesn't mind it at all. And most dogs will, if they like the taste, you just don't want to rush them. But it's so good for their dental hygiene because so many things with their teeth and bacteria in their teeth can cause other systemic problems in their body.
The last thing I want to share is lumps and bumps. So often my clients come in and they want me to check various lumps and bumps that occur on their senior dog. So basically what you want to do is put your hands on your dog, and I would recommend doing this once a week, at the very least once a month. And you're going to run your hands all over your dog's body, on the sides, under the armpits, on top. And I'm sure you'll come along and find a bump or two. Jake has several of these bumps. And if you look here, if you can kind of grab it with your fingers and go underneath it and move it around, 90% of the time it's nothing to worry about. However, if it's hard or stuck in one place, you really should go to your vet and get them to check it out. They may have to aspirate it to see if there's something sinister in there. But generally speaking, most lumps and bumps are fairly normal for many dogs, especially labs, chocolate labs actually. I see them, almost everyone I see has them. So appreciate your dog as it ages and give your senior dog a kiss.